Hey everyone, welcome to our next video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to direct your breath while still breathing through your diaphragm. So you could be doing yoga, activity, training, but we still need to learn and teach yourself how to breathe diaphragmatically when we're doing those movements. And then we're going to actually show you an exercise to do to help strengthen this purpose.
So in block therapy, we are always teaching full diaphragmatic breathing or proper diaphragmatic breathing. And then when we're not actually in block class, we want to continue to breathe through the belly. But that's really basically just the relaxed breath. When you're wanting to take that fuller, more engaged breath with activity, there's a process and a system to do that. So I'm going to have Quinn lie on his back here so we can show you the order of how the proper breath should happen. So the very first thing I want to show is actually an incorrect full breath, because most people are breathing through the muscles of the upper chest. So I'm just going to have Quinn demonstrate this as he's lying here. You can see all of the activity happening up through here as he breathes.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable. Now we're going to shift and we're just going to show you the basic belly breaths. You can see the belly rise with that inhale and fall with that exhale. Now, what happens if we want to actually take that full breath? So we start in the belly and we move all the way to the ribs. Here we start in the belly, then we engage the lower ribs, then we bring that breath up to the upper ribs, and then we exhale fully and completely. So when you're going to be working to that full strenuous level, we still want to engage the belly first, and then we want those lower ribs to expand as we then direct the breath all the way up to that upper chest area. Where most people get caught is they don't have any action happening here, and all of that movement is happening up here. And here's the problem with that. At the base of the lungs is where the majority of the oxygen receptor sites reside. If you're breathing only through those muscles of the upper chest, you are not bringing the air deeply enough into the lungs for that full absorption. Also, you're not exhaling all of the waste and carbon dioxide out of the body, which is going to result in a toxic body that's going to expand in size. So when you're just doing those relaxed breaths, just through the belly, and then when you're wanting to engage that deeper breath, it goes belly, then lower ribs, then upper ribs, and then that full exhale.
All right.
How's that feel?
Very, very good.
Okay.
Very good. And it's also a workout for the diaphragm because you're training your diaphragm to work in different directions as well. So now what we want to do is teach our rib cage and our breath where it should be aligned when we're engaged. So for example, I'm just going to jump to some basic movements that a lot of you are probably doing: squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, any type of movement. We can't just be relaxed all the time and just breathe through the diaphragm like this, because we need to use our core and our core muscles engaged to help stabilize the core, the rib cage, the spine, etc. So what we need to do and what we need to understand is where the rib cage should be aligned. So this is called bracing the core while still breathing diaphragmatically. So first off, when you're bracing the core, we want to make sure that the ribs are in flush with the rest of the core. We don't want to be collapsed, because majority of us are collapsed like this. We're in front of a computer or we're standing, and this posture makes me and will make almost everyone look not great. So we also don't want to overextend the spine either. So we need to find that neutral alignment, which is bracing the core. And now we just talked about directing the breath and still engaging that diaphragmatic breath. So right now, I'm going to go on the floor in a second, but so do this movement and action with me right now. So collapse, very easy to do, but now overextend and be like, okay, I'm correcting my posture. That's not necessarily correct. It's a bit of a better direction than it was, but then collapse, overextend, and now find that neutral alignment. So now these lower ribs here should be in alignment with my core, with my abs, etc. So now, once we're locking this in place, remember how we engage that breath. But now that we're really engaged, you're not going to really see my belly expand. So now we're going to be training the core and the diaphragm to almost breathe like this. So the whole rib cage is expanding through the inhalation and getting smaller with the exhalation. So here we go. And exhale. And I'm taking the same principle as Deanna just mentioned. So I'm starting with the belly, even though it's engaged. Side ribs. Now all the way up. Exhale. but my diaphragm's still engaged. A lot of people do this and they're going to just revert back to breathing through the muscles in the upper chest. They're like, okay, I'm going to squat, but I'm going to go breathe like that, which will cause the body to kind of be deprived and starve of oxygen. So this way is a massive first step for anybody, even if you're been training in the gym for years, because I've missed a lot of these micro movements that have caused me issues. And this is going to be a massive benefit to you. So same thing. Let's lock the core. And now let's take those breaths. I'm still accessing the diaphragm. I'm not just breathing through the muscles in the upper chest. Exhale fully. My core still engaged. Exhale fully. So that is essentially what it looks like to brace your core and breathe diaphragmatically. So now, next time you do any sort of exercise, movement, weight training, whatever it is that you like to do, try that action. First off, start with that belly position we did in a previous video. If you haven't watched that, check that out now. And that's going to help unlock the diaphragm. But now we need to train the core in its proper alignment while still activating the diaphragm.
And I do want to share, this is a journey. It doesn't just click in overnight. When I was going through this process to begin with, when I was lifting my rib cage out, I overdid it. And it was actually my yoga teacher that said, you're letting too much of this forward, so you have to pull those ribs in. So it's a bit of a dance and it takes a while. And I mean, I'm 20 odd years in and I'm still learning. So one thing I want to just share is make sure you be kind to yourself and you go with the process, and each step of the way you're going to find that balance as it comes into play in your body.
Absolutely. So that's everything. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Any comments we'll be replying to, leave those below, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Bye, everyone.